point. They had a couple of other opportunities but couldn't answer their three. And then in the final moments of the game, Al Dakil spoiled Ederson's night by tapping the ball over the line, and Burnley had something to show for their efforts. But the final score here at the Etihad Stadium as the Blues go back into second place in the Premier League table. City 3, Burnley 1. Well, let's go back to the studio and we can join Cal.
Good evening, welcome back to Match Day Live, and it is finished. Full time at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 3, Burnley 1. That man came on the pitch with 20 minutes to go, which will delight City fans across the world. The man you saw before him, Julian Alvarez, the birthday boy celebrating his 24th birthday, bagged a brace in the first half. So full time is Manchester City 3, Burnley 1. Shame for Vincent Kompany there as well and his Burnley boys, but it is nice to see him back on the Etihad pitch, and it is nice to be back with you alongside me, Gareth Taylor and Richard Dunn. Slightly frustrating there at the end, Richard. Your prediction was almost right, bar that goal from Burnley, but a victory for City and a job well done tonight.
Yeah, it was difficult the second half. I think with the goal coming so early in the second half, it sort of knocked the game plan out of Burnley, and the game just became very difficult then because they just defended deep. They didn't want to get a high score against them, I suppose, and in the end they got a goal on the break and that was it. But it wasn't as clinical, I suppose, as the first half. The first half was very clean and everything they'd done. The second half, the game opened up. The game became a little bit end to end. There was maybe some passes where they were trying to force it into the forwards at times with City, and yeah, they didn't seem to have the same rhythm in the second half. But again, still a job well done and 3 points, and they move on.
Yeah, 3 points and moving on. As I said, what do you think it was? I mean, Richard mentioned obviously the goal early on as well, but obviously as well, it felt like Burnley brought a little bit more to the table in the second half, sadly, Gareth.
Yeah, they seemed to play a little bit freer in their build-up, Burnley, in the second half. They felt like they were building a little bit more from the back, whereas before in the first half, Trafford was kicking a lot, whereas they seemed to play in that. And that got them a little bit of joy as well sometimes during that second period. But I think when Haaland came on, it seemed like everyone was trying to find Haaland, you know, to get him that goal, and sometimes it was the wrong decision. Sometimes it was, you know, there was another pass on, or there was Doku was on, or one of the other players was available. So yeah, it was a little bit scrappy in the second half. I think they'd be a bit annoyed at giving that goal away at the end. But you have to say, yeah, job done. He managed to get good minutes into Kevin, managed to get Erling onto the pitch as well. So I think it's all in all a good one. Dust ourselves off, move forward with the 3 points.
Absolutely. Let's look at the highlights of the second half then. I mean, it was so quick into that first half. A goal from Rodri with a beautiful finish, a bit reminiscent of the one from the Champions League final in a way, but it was a beautifully taken goal, another one for Rodri.
It was, and it was started with a pass by De Bruyne down to Foden, and as a defender it's a nightmare because you don't know what positions to take up, because you go too close to Foden, Kevin can do that. If you stay off him, Foden can dribble you himself, so it's hard, and it's all about then the final decision from the wide player, and 9 times out of 10 Foden gets it right, and it was a perfect little layback, and Rodri's timing and balance just to come in at the right time to be able to just swing it around the goalkeeper, use the defender a little bit, and it's a beautiful strike, and like we say, we expect it from him now after the Champions League goal, and it looked like it was going to open the floodgates a little bit because they started the second half so well.
It didn't. I mean, on that, Rodri's got a few goals to his name so far this season. What do you think that's as a result of just him being in those positions a little bit more further forward? Because he seems to popped up a few more times this season.
Yeah, we mentioned it, didn't we, pre-game, that, you know, he's a 6 that gets in there and also gets his fair share of goals, and I think that's probably trusting the people and the players that he has behind him. So yes, you know, they rotate so well in their positions. You know, Phil can end up in various positions, and when one moves forward, the other one fills in. So I think it allows Rodri to be able to get into those positions, because, you know, with his profile as well, particularly from set plays and also from up the pitch, he possesses a really good finish. And I like the finish again because it was very similar to the Milan goal, but it was like really cultured as well. You know, he had a lot of bodies in the way of him, similar again to Inter goal, and he just managed to fashion it into the goal with a nice bit of composure.
Yeah, lovely. Just curled.
Doesn't he have a bet on with the rest of the players or something that if he gets up to 10, they all have to tuck their jerseys in for?
I did.
Yeah. Is it for goals?
Yeah, it is. Apparently, it's 10 goals. I mean, we don't know. We haven't had full confirmation.
Yeah.
We need to ask from the club, but I think that is the rumour.
So hopefully he's getting close to that.
Because it'd be quite the sight, wouldn't it? I mean, I don't know if you see that in football at all. A full team with shirts tucked in. But no, fingers crossed that does come to fruition. Unlucky there at the end, and as Gareth said, frustrating probably not to get the clean sheet. We found them hard to come by this season. It was I think it was Al-Zakil who'd come on with the finish. Disappointing from a City's defensive point of view, Richard.
Disappointing, but I think from Burnley's point of view, we spoke about them at half-time and maybe lacking a player that can give them something different. They've just taken Fofana on loan from Chelsea, and he showed some real speed there and just down up against Guardiola to get past them and get the delivery into the box. So for them, that's a real big bonus point. Obviously from City's point of view, it's disappointing so late in the game to concede a goal. And I'm sure Guardiola probably a little bit disappointed with his part in it. And once it comes across, it's difficult for them to clear it from that sort of distance. Yeah,
it is frustrating, and it's one of those, isn't it, Gareth? I mean, you know that Edison and probably the defence will be wanting to make sure that maybe that doesn't happen again, you know, further on down the line. Yeah,
like you say, I think it was around that Christmas period they seemed to be shipping a few goals at the back, which was not like City, and you know, certainly since that kind of winter break that they've had, they've come back, obviously kept a clean sheet against a good Spurs team. Be a little bit disappointed with tonight, but the signs are positive.
Yes.
I think, you know, considering how much the backline changes, it's looking pretty solid in that respect. And yeah, like Richard said, you know, Guardiola will be slightly disappointed, but for Burnley's point of view, yeah, Fofana looks like someone who's got that bit of pace who could make the difference potentially between now and the end of the season.
I guess as well, obviously, we welcomed, you know, ex-City legend, you know, Vincent Kompany back to the Etihad, and I think Alistair Mann said it in commentary. Didn't lose the second half. The second half score is 1-1. So I guess for them as well, and for Vinny, that'll be something to take from the game and try and build upon at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think so. I think there was a lot of positives in the second half of Burnley because they probably played a little bit more like they were at the beginning of the season, and he's probably looked at it and thought, well, we might need to play a bit tighter, a bit shore it up a little bit more. But sometimes you're probably better off going with what you feel and the way you want to play sometimes, and that's hard, particularly when you're probably not getting many points week in, week out. But yeah, he wouldn't have liked the beginning of the second half, for sure. Because we're like, well, that game plan goes out of the window. That chat he had at half-time straight away when they score like that. But, you know, gradually they got themselves back into it. And yeah, there were some positive signs, I thought, for Burnley in the second period. And hopefully that when you come here to the champions is going to give them some confidence.
Yeah, and a little boost possibly. Right, let's see then what Neil Lennon made of the game. He is now pitchside with our very own FG.
Yes, full time at the Etihad, Manchester City 3, Burnley 1. Neil, your thoughts on the game?
I thought City were outstanding for long periods of the game. First half, they were a joy to watch. You know, I really enjoyed the boys coming into the team. I thought Núñez was spectacular for long periods of the game, and I couldn't take my eyes off Doku. I thought he was just brilliant, but it was a great team performance, albeit when the third goal went in, the game was over as a contest, and then it was a bit of a lull, and they got a giveaway consolation goal. But they were a joy to watch at times tonight. De Bruyne, you know, getting more minutes, you know, Rodri getting a goal, Foden. Just you could go through the whole team and say, yeah, they played really well, each as individually and a collective.
And there was an extra edge as well to the goals that we scored. We scored a set piece, and it looked like it was on right from the training ground, didn't it?
Yeah, well, you can see Pep running over to the set play coach and giving him a big hug, because there's so much analysis and work that goes into this. But the weight of the pass from De Bruyne and the contact between him and Alvarez, it's just two really intelligent players linking together for a brilliant creative goal.
A word on Rico Lewis as well. We spoke about him before the game. How mature of a performance was that from him? Because he looks really good, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he just slots in there, and you can play him in a number of positions. He's so versatile. Whatever he's asked to do, he does it, and he does it well. You know, for a young player to have this sort of development in his career and play with these players, you can just see him grow every game.
It seems like at the minute City are just going through every game and just getting the job done and cruising past teams. They've got Brentford away next in the league on a Monday night. It's a week preparation. Is it just a case of just continuing doing what they're doing and just constantly taking a game back?
Yeah, you got to tick the games off, but also you got to look at the level of performance, and it was very good again tonight. Look, it takes two teams to make a game. You know, they're going to come up against stiffer opposition, and that's when City really come to the fore. And like I say, the game was over in the 46th minute. You know, when Rodri makes it 3-0, you know, the game just goes into a lull because Burnley are too scared to come out, and City have gone, okay, well, if you're not coming out, I mean, they could have picked them off again 3 or 4 times if they got the right pass right. So, yeah, I mean, it's 3 points. Pep will be delighted with what he's seen from a lot of the players who've been on the fringe. Obviously, Haaland coming on showed a few cameos, a little bit of rust. Big swipe and a miss from him. You don't see that very often, but all in all, a good night's work for the team.
A good night's work indeed. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on Matchday Live.
Thank you very much.
You have to come back again.
Thank
all right?
you.
You're
It's great to work
welcome.
with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Neil Lennon, and thank you to everyone watching all the pitchside coverage. Let's head back to Kelly in the studio.
Thanks so much, FG, for all your help with today's show. And, of course, to Neil Lennon there as well. Brilliant to have him on. Can't wait to have him on next time. Thank you for joining us. And thank you to all of you who entered our competition we've been running over the last couple of games. Oh, yes, my friends, competitions are very real here on Matchday Live. And we've been running a competition. We ran it during the derby. And we also ran it at the Spurs game as well. It was giving you a chance to win this ball signed by all our women's team. And I believe your signature's on there as well, Gareth, somewhere. Well, I can now reveal the winner of this signed ball is Natalie Mason from Carlisle. A massive congratulations, Natalie. This is yours. We'll be getting in touch to see how we can get that to you, make sure that it arrives safe and sound. But a massive thank you to all of you who got involved in the competition. We had thousands of people get involved, and I think over 700 sign-ups as well to become a citizen, which is brilliant for the club. And if you do want to do that as well, you can do. Just go to mancity.com/fans. And there's going to be more competitions here on Matchday Live. In fact, I have heard from a little birdie that you might be in with the chance to win a pair of boots signed by a first-team player. I don't know. That's just what I've heard. Don't quote me on it, but that could be in with a chance of winning a little bit later on further down the line. So keep your eyes peeled and come back and join us. Let's look ahead then to Brentford Monday night. Gareth, a team that actually beat us both times last season, beat us earlier on in the season and last game of the season. So of course we'll be hoping for winning ways, but they seem to have hit a bit of form, especially with Tony coming back into the team.
Yeah, Tony back. I think he scored tonight. They lost at Spurs, so. You know, and conceded 3 goals tonight as well. So I think that's something that Pep will be analysing over the next few days now. What's the game plan to go there to go and pick up the points that we need? I think, yeah, Tony back, they're obviously a little bit of a different proposition. They're very good at set plays. So again, they'll have to be really diligent, City, in their preparation of that. But again, would have taken a lot of confidence from some of the things they did tonight.
I mean, they are, as he said, they're a different proposition with Tony. I think he's got a goal and assist again tonight. I mean, obviously, Frank as well, he's kind of been a bit up and down, but he's been saying how great that it is to have Tony back and obviously playing them at Brentford as well. But I think they give everyone a great game there. Smaller pitch as well, which probably suits Brentford more than City, Richard.
Yeah, I think over the period that they lost Tony, they sort of looked like an average team at times. They sort of lost their spark a little bit. But him coming back just changes everything. It gives him such an outlet, and he's such a good leader for the Brentford side. So, yeah, he's back in the goals again tonight, and he's always going to be a threat. And obviously, with the way the results went last season, City will know that it's going to be a tough challenge.
G mentioned it there to Neil, but I guess as well it is a bit of a luxury, particularly for this squad, to have the time we've got in between games now. I think it's Monday night is the next game. We've got 2 games in 15 days, which is rare for City, so that can only bode well for the players coming back from injury, but also for Pep and his team maybe to get a bit more time coaching and training. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, you know, Liverpool currently playing at this moment as we speak, and they play Sunday. So they have less recovery time than City have. And it looks good for City at the moment because we've seen De Bruyne coming back, John Stones back fit, obviously Haaland back in as well. So, yeah, when you've got really good availability numbers, it gives you all the options, and I'm sure that's what Pep will be looking forward to.
Indeed. Well, listen, Monday night, Nat is going to be guiding you through our Matchday Live show. She's going to be alongside Jolene Lescott and Darius Vassell. So, cracking little lineup for you to get involved with on Monday night, though. Until then, though, make sure you keep checking out the Manchester City app and mancity.com. Natalie, congratulations again. We'll be getting this to you, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Thank you to Richard Dunn. Thank you to Gareth Taylor. And once again, thank you to you. Have a lovely evening and great rest of the week. We'll see you on Monday.